All right, today we're diving deep into the Soundarya Lahari. It's this incredible, thousand-year-old masterpiece that paints a really powerful picture of the divine feminine. I mean, this text is just packed with cosmic secrets, deep symbolism, and believe it or not, a practical guide for transforming ourselves. And it all kicks off with this fascinating paradox.
It sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? But this question, this very paradox, is the key that unlocks the entire philosophy of the Soundarya Lahari. From the very first line, it just completely flips our whole concept of power on its head.
And there it is. The text opens with this absolute bombshell. Shiva, the supreme consciousness, the absolute, he's completely inert, motionless. He can't do a thing without his divine feminine counterpart. Think of him as pure, static potential. But, as we all know, potential alone doesn't actually do anything.
So if Shiva is just pure potential, what's the power that actually flips the switch and gets him going? To get that, we really need to understand the core dynamic of this whole cosmic vision, this incredible relationship between Shiva and Shakti. Well, that power is called Shakti. She is the dynamic, creative, kinetic energy that brings the entire universe to life. That analogy is perfect. Without her, the supercomputer of consciousness is just a dark, silent box. But with her, with that electricity, it can create, sustain, and transform entire world. And look, this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. The Soundarya Lahari lays it out pretty clearly. This divine energy is basically the CEO of the entire cosmos, delegating all the big jobs of existence. These are what you could call the 5 great cosmic functions. You've got creation, preservation, and dissolution. Jobs handled by the gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. But the text is very clear. They can only do their jobs because she empowers them. And on top of that, she also oversees the power that kind of veils reality from us. That's concealment. And the grace that, in the end, reveals it all. And the scale of her power, it's just staggering. According to the text, all 14 worlds of the cosmos, we're talking every galaxy, every star, every single atom, are created from a single tiny speck of dust from her feet. I mean, just try to wrap your head around that for a second. Now that is power.
Now here's where things get really interesting. The way the hymn describes her form, it's not just beautiful poetry. It's actually a symbolic blueprint for understanding the universe and, maybe even more importantly, for understanding ourselves.
Every single detail you see in a traditional depiction like this is just jam-packed with meaning. The things she holds in her hands, for instance, they aren't weapons in the usual sense. They're actually tools that represent the very forces that shape our own inner world.
Okay, let's break this down. The sugarcane bow, that symbolizes the mind. The 5 flower arrows she holds are our 5 senses, which the mind is constantly shooting out into the world. The noose represents desire and attachment, that force that pulls us toward things. And the goad, that's aversion and anger, the force that pushes us away.
So, the crucial point here is this. The image is showing us that she has complete and total mastery over these fundamental forces of our own consciousness, our mind, our senses, our desires, our aversions. And the text suggests that by meditating on her, we can start to gain that same mastery over these forces within ourselves. And this brilliant picture of inner mastery brings us right to the next phase of the text, which is essentially a detailed map for a spiritual journey. But it's not a journey across the cosmos, it's a journey deep inside the human body. This journey is all about awakening a powerful, dormant energy called Kundalini. It's often pictured as a coiled serpent just resting at the base of the spine. The path it takes is straight up through a series of energy centers called chakras, with each one representing a different level of consciousness. So, the ascent kicks off at the very foundation of our being, the root chakra. This one's associated with the densest element, earth. It's our connection to the physical, material world. From there, the energy starts to move upward, passing through chakras linked with progressively more subtle elements. First water, then fire, then air. You can see it's a journey from the gross to the subtle, from pure matter to pure energy. The next big step is the Ajna chakra. You probably know it as the third eye, right between the eyebrows. This is huge because this is the center of the mind and the intellect. To keep going, the awakened energy has to push past the limits of our ordinary way of thinking. And the final destination? It's the Sahasrara, the 1,000-petaled lotus at the very crown of the head. This is the seat of Shiva, of pure consciousness. It's here that the individual energy, Shakti, finally reunites with its source, Shiva, in this incredible state of bliss and enlightenment.
Okay, so we've seen this cosmic power, we've mapped out this deep inner journey, but how does any of this ancient wisdom actually apply to our day-to-day lives? Well, the Soundarya Lahari offers an answer that's beautifully simple, but also incredibly profound. It's really important to remember that this isn't just theory from some dusty old book. It's the philosophical bedrock for traditions and practices that are very much alive today, all focused on seeing the divine in every single part of life.
And this brings us to one of the most powerful takeaways in the entire text. It suggests a pretty radical shift in how we see things. What if everything we do, our talking, our movements, even just eating and sleeping, what if all of it could be seen as an act of worship? The whole idea is to transform the mundane into the sacred, just by changing our intention.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. If our daily routine, our work, our relationships, if every part of it were viewed as a sacred offering, how would that change our approach to life? It's a profound thought from an ancient text that asks us to find a flood of divine beauty, not just out there in the cosmos, but right here, in every single moment.